All right. Hopefully, we got that up and running today because, wow, Windows updates were aggressive this morning. So, what's up, everyone? I see Ant in the chat. What's up, man? Gotta start scheduling these 30 minutes earlier so you make it. Hey, like I said, this is progress, not perfection. It is gonna take a little while, but hey, I'm here. We're ready to go. Got some fun stuff to talk about today. Got some cool statues and figures to show off today. So, I'm ready to go. I got my coffee. I'm already good, So, welcome to episode 3 of the Nerds Never Sleep Caffeinated Collector. And a lot of stuff actually happened this past week. Not only did I have more figures than usual that I posted, but also had some really cool stuff like the Sony State of Play, which I'm actually pretty excited about. So there was definitely some cool stuff we can talk about later. But first off, as I always want to do, just want to give a little bit of kind of a preview, so to speak, of things to come. And obviously, this week we did have quite a few figures that I highlighted and statues on the channel last week. Of course, this is using YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, TikToks, photos that I post on things like Twitter, things like that. So definitely had a lot of collectibles that I showed off this week. Didn't have much on the course of videos, but we'll get into that. I had some housing errors, so to speak, here at the house. So have some stuff going on, and it's winter and snow and ice and water and all kinds of headaches have in the house. So it kind of caused everything to delay a little bit. But we will get back on track. I might have to have one of my ceilings removed, so we'll see what happens here. Just wanted to check my mic volume real quick and make sure we were good. Hey, what's going on, JT? How we doing, man? Good seeing you. Yeah, I'm a little late today. I started things up and I had about 800 Windows updates I had to do. So I had to wait till all those were done. I had a Stream Deck update I had to run too. So we ran a little bit late, but we're good. We're good. How's everything going today? Or tonight, I should say. What new corner? I need to change to a new corner. Why do I need to change to a new corner? This corner's good. This is a good corner. This actually has all my lighting in it. My other ones don't have all the lighting all set up in them. Why do I need to change that? Need to show more figures like a new backdrop? Man, I can't change my background every single day, every week. You know how long it would take to change all these figures in and out? Man, that would take forever. And then to actually move all the setup to another corner of the room or another side of the room, man, that would take way too long. Hey, sorry, man, you don't like the background. Like, I don't know, you gotta. I don't know any other anime or figure channels that are constantly changing their backdrops, man. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. That's a critique I can't do much about. I can't move all my shelves. It's kind of just the way things go, man. But there are some cool figures back here. There's some cool statues up here, you know? So, hey, so how's everything else going here? Aside from not liking the background here. Need more waifu in the backdrop. Man, there's a lot of waifu in the backdrop. We got we got all the Star Wars ladies back here. We got the X-Men back here. We got Avengers. We got God, what do we got back here? We got Thor and Loki, all the Marvel girls. Yeah, we got a lot back here. There's a lot of waifus. I mean, behind me is, the DC waifus. We got Street Fighter waifus over here. Man, there's a ton of waifu. I don't know. I don't know how many more I could have. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of figures here. A lot of figures I highlighted this week. Definitely had some good stuff. And today I want to talk a little bit about the rest of the poor poor Highguard and its troubles, and then I want to talk about Sony's state of play too this week because they had a state of play and it was really good. I thought. I want to show a couple little trailers, maybe a couple little things. We'll talk about a little bit of the games they announced and showed off. So pretty good. It's been a pretty good week, honestly, for collectors and games in general. And there are a few new additions to the piles that I got this week, but I actually have to grab them out of the other room, so I'll do that after. But yeah, I got some more Ichiban Kuji figures, and they will make an appearance in the video that's going to drop Wednesday. So the new haul video is going to drop Wednesday. The new prize figure face off is going to drop Friday, and we'll be back into the swing of things. So it is, like I said, it's been a little hectic here. Had more water coming on my roof from all the ice and snow melting right now, so I may have to have my ceiling torn down and replaced. So it's been a little iffy. If you saw my gaming stream the other day, there's a point in the stream where I look up at my ceiling and I just kind of froze because I noticed there was a stress crack with some water going through it. So yeah, it could have been really messy if my ceiling had collapsed on me during a live stream. It would have made for good content, but yeah, it would have sucked. So I have people coming out here to look at that. So we'll see what happens, but but yeah, so enough of the introductions, so to speak. Let's go in and get into some figures and kind of show off some waifu and some husbandos from this week because I did actually post some of the boys as well as some ladies. So we'll start out things with, of course, did I do My Hero Monday this week? No, I did not. I actually did a Miku Monday, and it wasn't Miku. So, of course, someone who's always popular, of course, it's Rin-chan. And this is they are actually right behind me, all up here, the entire line. It's from one of the original from 2014 Sega Project Diva arcade series. And it's just an awesome piece. It's Rin in her classic costume. She looks dope, and she's kind of given like a little sassy pose. I really, really like this one. I like the entire line that's up here. It's just Miku, Kaito, Rin, Len, Mako, Luca. Of course, it's all the main Vocaloids from obviously Project Diva. So we didn't get, other ones like Teto and things like that. But, you know, hey, it was an early set of figures, and it's one of the few sets, even still to this day, that has every single one of the main Vocaloids in it. You don't get that very much anymore. Usually you get two, maybe you'll get three figures in a set. So very, very cool. I love it. I think Rin is super adorable in like every figure that we get from her. And the fact that this thing is over 10 years old. God, this thing's almost 15 years old now. It says a lot for that figure and how it's held up, So it is been a really, really cool one. And it's always a pretty popular piece when I show her, especially if I show her with Len and things like that. This time I gave her kind of the solo, treatment because, she kind of deserves it. It's Rin. She's probably my second favorite Vocaloid. So, like I said, all in all with this one, the sculpt is great. The costume is done perfectly well. And like I said, for over almost a 15-year-old piece, she looks so freaking good. The details are spot on. And, we don't get enough of the secondary characters in the Miku-verse, so to speak. So having a classic Rin is always great, especially, like I said, when she goes into a set with every other one. So it's something you don't get enough of, and we definitely need more of it. But I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are. Yeah, if you're watching in the chat right now, or if you're watching this on the VOD, what you think of Rin. If you guys want me to show off more of the setup here, which I've done several times. But all in all, like I said, she's pretty awesome, and I don't want to say she's hard to find right now, but it's gonna be a little bit more expensive now if you do want to grab yourself one, just because of how old she is now and how, I don't want to say rare, but for example, this is a piece that I picked up at New York Comic Con or New York Anime or Anime New York for literally $20. And I bought the entire set, so I got a discount. So nowadays, you're going to look at paying quite a bit more than that for a piece like this, just because of the actual rarity of the piece. So let's see. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see if I can look her up. Yeah. Wow. I'm looking her up right now, and honestly, she ranges from $55 on the cheap side to a little over $100. So yeah, she goes for quite a pretty penny in the aftermarket now. That's the problem with figures. Is if they are a popular character and it's kind of more of a rarity, you are going to see that insane spike in your aftermarket price. Especially, of course, if people think they can make some money. And, that's exactly what people do in this hobby a lot of the times, is they kind of buy things just to flip for profit. So, I don't know. I can't tell you to get this one for that kind of money. But if you can get yourself a set of all the Vocaloids together from this series, I would definitely recommend that, because, again, it's a rarity that we get all of them together. I think this may be one of the only sets of prize figures that I've seen that actually has all your main Vocaloids. So it kind of depends on what you're willing to spend, but if you are looking for a really awesome Rin, this one, you can't go wrong with it. And like I said, you can't go wrong with the rest of that set. So very, very, very awesome looking Rin. Now, like I said, I personally love the set, but would I overpay for it? Probably not. There are a few figures I would actually go above and beyond and overpay for. One that I'm currently trying to get right now, because the unfortunate reality of the what I like to call the Reze tax is going on, where any Chainsaw Man Reze figure has doubled, tripled, or quadrupled in resale price, and it is absolute insanity. So I'm still trying to get my hands on the companion piece to my gigantic Denji and Beam Kuji figure, but I can't. So I do have Bomb coming in a shipment, but I cannot get the standard just Reze, pulling the choker chain. So it's a little tough. I don't want to pay 4 times retail price for her, so I'm trying to find one. If you guys know where I can get one, let me know because I'm definitely looking for one. But speaking of things that are a little, I don't want to say hard to find, but a little bit less seen, I guess you could say, as far as prize figures go. So for Twin Tuesday, obviously, went back to ReZero, but I didn't go with any of the twins. I went to Amelia, of course, and y'all like Amelia when I post her, but this one got a little bit of mixed reception. And it is because it's kind of an odd one, I think. This is what's called the Fluffy Materials Amelia. And I can't say I'm a huge fan of this one, but it is definitely a standout piece because of, I think, just how awkward this one is between the pose and everything going on with it. It's definitely unique, I guess you could say. And she did get flagged on TikTok for adult content, probably because of the short dress, I guess you want to call it, and the garters maybe. But it's definitely a wild outfit because if you see, she's actually wearing shorts underneath it. She's not wearing, a thong or anything like that. So it is a different kind of piece, for sure. And I don't know how I feel about her, but back when she came out, Amelia's were a rarity to get, so I scooped her up as soon as I could. I mean, I can appreciate the fact that she's in a unique pose, but it is a little. Definitely a little wild to kind of pinpoint her down. But like I said, it's one that people question. I guess I could say to me because people have asked me if I've sculpted this one, if this is a bootleg, if this is a third party. It's not. It's actually an Espresso series figure from Van Presto. She's legit. It's just they didn't really do anything as far as companion pieces for her. So it's just Amelia in this brown prisoner looking coat, with high ass thigh high boots and some stocking, held up with some garters. So it's a really weird and strange piece. So I don't know. Like I say, the variety kind of adds to the collection a little bit. And in this case, it's variety, but is it a good variety? Yeah, I guess. But she's probably one of my least favorite Amelias that I have, in the few that I do have, just because of how awkward the pose is. Like she's leaning back. There's no story to the figure, I guess, so to speak. Like normally when they're in some kind of a pose like this, there's an effect going on the figure, or there's something, or it's from a scene from an anime. and you kind of know the scene. This one is very odd. I think it was from a panel of the manga. I just don't remember it. So it's definitely one of those ones that is strange. And like I said, I get questioned about her all the time to if she's real or not. But no, she is real. She's very, very real. And it's just it's a very, like I said, it's a very different kind of look. And I don't know if she actually is an expensive one or not, like after thought. Let's see. If we bring up shopping, she's actually pretty cheap still. She's only around 20 to $25. So she still is relatively inexpensive, so to speak. But is she that great? I don't know. But if you're starting for Amelia figures, you're looking for something very, very, very different, then this is definitely one to check out. I think the pose is fun. It's sculpted very well. The face is sculpted very well. The only thing I don't like is the hair does go in front of her face. So you have to kind of raise your angle up when you're viewing her. But other than that, I mean, it's a different look. It really is. And, I can't really suggest her to people, but it's Amelia and she's here. I don't really have anything else I can say about it. But, like I said, she is a real figure and she is made by Banpresto. So it's the Banpresto Fluffy Materials Amelia. And there are no companion pieces to it. It's just Amelia in her brown kind of, I don't know, what you want to even call it. It's a hobo chick. Oh, hobo chic. Is that what you're saying? Hobo chic. Oh my god, what is it? Oh my god, you just had me thinking of something. Zoolander. It's her derelict line, right? This could be derelict Amelia, right? Her hobo chic derelict look. I like that. It's a good one. Yeah, it's definitely a strange one, man. She kind of looks like she's in a fluffy prison coat or something, but yeah, it's an odd one. But like I said, if you guys are looking for some variety, look her up. She's cheap. You can probably get her even cheaper than what I mentioned. And yeah, let me know what you guys think if you do get her, because she's unique. I don't know. She's definitely unique. But yeah, that's it for Twin Tuesday. So, as far as the rest of the week went, obviously, I did do some extra figures, so we're gonna go a little bit longer. But Waifu Wednesday went a little different direction than what I normally go. It wasn't like some slice of life girl or thing like that. It was Urza Scarlet from Fairy Tail. Now, this is one of the OG Good Smile Company pop-up parades, back when they had these crazy kind of hex bases with different colors that I kind of thought was a little fun, a little unique. I think the newer ones now, I don't even know if I've opened many of the newer ones yet, just have more of a disc kind of circular base or a clear base, which, is kind of boring. But the Urza, the Fairy Tail line, they are really, really awesome. Obviously, this is just Urza in her classic costume. And of course, it's a Good Smile pop-up parade. And with the exception of the original quintuplets line and the My Teen Romantic Comedy Snafu ones, I think every pop-up parade I've opened and I've unboxed and I've reviewed has been absolutely awesome. They are spot on. And the Urza here is no exception there. She looks so freaking good. The armor, just the straight up badass kind of posture that she has to herself. The way she's standing, and I know she's just standing straight up kind of with the arch to her back, but She looks confident. She looks cocky. She looks she's ready to kick someone's ass. And I absolutely love it. I love that she has the sword kind of out to the side, ready to go. And the kind of stoic look on her face has that battle ready look for Urza. I really like it. I know they did a couple other ones as well. Um, what did they do? I didn't get the rest of them. So we've had an XL one, which I don't do XLs because they are massive. So where this Urza is your standard small Papa Parade figure, they actually remade it in an XL, which is like a quarter scale statue. And it's the same exact thing, but it's almost $400. So, you had this one for about $35, or you can get a larger version of it for almost $400. So I don't like what Good Smile does now with these figures where they're making these XL ones. And they're making, some of them are XL, some of them are L, some of them are S now. It's very jarring because you used to have a line that all fit together perfectly and they scaled together perfectly. And now you have a line where it's, like an Urza. Well, if you didn't get the original print of Urza, you want to buy her on the aftermarket, you're going to pay a lot. Well, you can do that, or you can buy the giant quarter scale XL version of her and spend $400. They do the same thing with a lot of the other ones. They have Mikus now that vary in size. There's tons of different ones. They'll come out in all these different versions, and you go, "Oh, I want that Miku," and then you look at the price tag and go, "I don't think I want her that much." So I don't like what Good Smile has been doing with this, because Good Smile already does put out a lot of higher end figures. The Pop-Up Parades were supposed to be that entry level friendly kind of collector piece, especially for people who don't have a lot of space. So it is a line that I always do sing the praises of. And we did get the Magic Games costume for her and all the rest of the main cast of Fairy Tale. And then I believe we got 2 of her alt forms as well. I don't think we ended up getting all her forms, which one of the forms I really wanted was her like ultimate armored form, but we didn't get that. We did get the besides the Magic Games one, what was the other one we got? The one where she's got kind of like the wraps and the flaming pants on. I'm forgetting what that one's called. I know it was one of her forms. I'm just not remembering which one it's called. She's got the dual blades and she has kind of like the wrap around her chest with like the haka pants that are like flaming. So I don't remember what one it was, but I know we got to figure that one as well. I think we got more Lucy's than anything else. Lucy's, we got her maid, we got her Moo costume, we got her the Aquarius, we got the Magic Games, we got a bunch of her. Not as many Urzas, but this one is absolutely badass. I think she looks fantastic, and she's been reprinted 3 times now. So every time they sell out, I always tell people, if you're looking for Pop-Up Parades, do not pay scalpers for the aftermarket prices. Wait and just bide your time. Eventually, they will re-release them. I know Joker from Persona, I think he's on his 3rd re-release right now. And thankfully for me, Maka from, I was just going to say Fairy Tale, from Soul Eater is actually finally getting a reprint as well. So if you are interested in the Pop-Up Parades, I tell everyone, bide your time on them or just look for deals. And just keep waiting. Keep looking for those pre-orders to pop up, because eventually they will probably reissue them if they've been sold out. But that's it for Urza. And like I said, I definitely recommend it, because one of the things I said even in my review of her years ago is that we don't get enough lower end, I'll say, so affordable Fairy Tale prize figures. There aren't huge lines of prize figures by Sega or by Taito or by, Furyu or anything. There really aren't any. So having these Good Smile pop-up parades is fantastic. I'm happy they did it, but I just wish they would have kept them all to the regular size, because there are a few that I really would have liked to have gotten. But definitely recommend her. I think you can still get her at a pretty affordable price. Um, you don't have to look for an XL version. Like I said, you can look at probably, in the aftermarket, you're looking around $70-ish for this version. Like I said, if you go and you look around for the re-release, you'll probably be able to find the re-release for a more reasonable price, because the reissues don't usually sell as expensive as the launch ones. And they're usually not any different. I know the only ones that Good Smile did that actually were re-sculpted were the quintessential quintuplets ones, which I have the first printings of, and they sucked. Their quality control on their faces was just trash, and they actually had to go scrap them and re-release them again with version 1.5s, where they actually sculpted their faces better. So only ones I've seen them do that with. So if you're looking for one, I definitely recommend her, the Natsu, the Gray, the Lucy. Like, they're all there. So definitely recommend her. She is fantastic, guys. So that was it for our fiery waifu of the week. And it was definitely a different vibe from last week, who was, I think it was I, or was it Maureen? One of these episodes was I, and one of these was Maureen. I think it was Maureen last week. So definitely a different vibe from Maureen Kitagawa last week. And, it'll be a different vibe this week coming up. So speaking of different vibes, we changed things up for Reincarnated on a Thursday. Obviously, for that time, I got reincarnated as Slime. And we went with one of the boys, of course, going from one flaming character to another. Phrasing, I guess. Of course, I went with one of Rimru's right-hand men, Benimaru, and this is a pretty badass piece. I gotta give it that. And I wish Bandai Spirits, Ben Presto, would have continued on with this series in particular. So this was just called their Bandai Spirits premium figure. Nothing fancy, no little subtitles. It was just Bandai Spirits, Ben Presto, Benimaru. Done. And they only did, I think, 3 or 4 in this set. So we had Benimaru, of course, looking like a freaking badass. No annoying base. He does have a little stand block that attaches to the back of his leg. But with the way his coat kind of flows out over it, you barely even notice the foot peg. So it's very, very cool. I love it. He's looking like a badass, but he also has companion pieces, which is Soe. I believe Hero is part of this, his brother. And I think there was a Diablo in this line. So there was only 3 or 4 in this particular set. But other than the Ichiban Kuji figures, which a lot of people mistake this one for, he is, I think, the best Benimaru that we've gotten. I know there are the Ben Presto Otherworlder series ones, which are like, smaller scale prize figures with the big, chunky black bases. And they're okay, obviously, for what they are and what their prices are. But the fact that this thing is the same price as your Otherworlder figure, well, it's a no-brainer. I definitely say, if you got to get a Benimaru, get this one. Especially if you don't want to spend the extra change for a Ichiban Kuji figure, or a more expensive, Good Smile statue, or I think, who puts out one? Forgetting the name. One of the other higher end anime figure companies puts one out as well, but he's looking at like $250, I think, minimum. So I can't really say you go wrong with this one. He's gonna run, so let's see, he's gonna run, he's only gonna run about $25 still. He's pretty cheap. They did make a newer version of him as well, which I'm not as much of a fan of. but you can get him even cheaper for the most part. He's kind of pulling his sword out. Doesn't, like I said, it doesn't look as good, but it is what it is. This one is, I think, my favorite. I think I just love the way he looks. He's just kind of in a standard pose, I guess you want to say, but he's kind of got the sword. He's kind of giving a little flex, like, kind of almost taunting you, like, try it. And I really, really dig it. Now, the other one is not really that cool. I want to see if I can bring him up right now. Let's see if I can bring him up here. All right. Let's see if I can bring him up. So this is the other Benimaru right here. And it's kind of, it's all right, but it definitely doesn't have that kind of flair that, or just not even the flair, just the kind of the vibe, the badassness that this Benimaru obviously has. And I took him down, so I apologize. There he is now. But I think the one with the sword being out, it looks all right, but he's not as cool as this one where he's kind of just in that pose, ready to go. The other one is an action pose, and I like dynamic poses usually, but there's something about it that just doesn't really click for me. So, sorry, my chat was delayed a little bit. Say he looks too happy. Oh, and the other one, yeah, I think that's what I was thinking too. He looks a little too happy. That could be it. Maybe just because of the way the facial expression is on him, but there's something a little off about it. But all in all, like I said, he is a pretty badass piece. And I think they made, like I said, they made a hero. I'm trying to see if I can pull him up. Yeah, they did make a hero, and he's just kind of standard looking. He doesn't have like a blade out or anything. But he's also pretty cool, like I said. And then they did a Soe, and then they did do a Rimuru and Malim, but they're not posed the same. They're kind of in like jumping poses together. And I don't actually have those ones yet. So, like I said, I think if you're looking for a really badass Benimaru, this is the way to go. He's still half the price of the Ichiban Kuji one, which is, it's all right. I don't actually personally even have it. I looked at him and said, is it worth $80? Probably not. So I just kind of held off on him. But like I said, when you get something like this for under $30 and he looks on par with an Ichiban Kuji figure, I would suggest going with that one. So highly, highly recommend him. I definitely recommend the Soe that goes with him and the hero that goes with him. They are both really, really badass. I said, I wish Hero had a sword out. He just kind of like has like his hands on his belt, like resting, but he still looks badass. He's got his muscles all out. He looks like a boss. So like I said, I definitely recommend him, and definitely worth checking out. So if you're looking for one on the cheap, that one. Forget he's on this side of my screen. This one's the one to go with. But that's it for Thursday. So we got 2 more figures to go ahead and chat about. I'm going to take me a little sip of my coffee real quick because it's probably getting cold now. Damn, that's good. All right. So for those of you who don't know, we had a kind of duo of holidays over the weekend. We, of course, had Valentine's Day and we had Friday the 13th back to back this year. So I went a little above and beyond, so to speak, on the channel and gave you guys an extra figure this week. I did 6. So I went ahead for Figure Friday because it was Friday the 13th, and I went with Jason Voorhees, of course, from the very busty Kotobuki Bishojo line, but paired her up with Ash from the Evil Dead. Now, of course, I could have went and done the Bishojo version of Ash and had kind of a lady duo, but I decided I love the J. Scott Campbell Dynamic Forces Ash so much that I definitely wanted to show him off. And I know it's Ash, it's Evil Dead. He's not Friday the 13th, but I got away with it by pairing him with Jason. So that was kind of the way I laid that trick down. I needed to get some more dudes in the picture this week anyways. You know, we only had one. We had to bring another out. But all in all, I think, and I mean, I've sung this thing's praises many a Halloween season. I think every spooky season I bring him out. This thing is, oh my God, he's so awesome. And he is pretty freaking rare. This thing is about, I think it's an under 200 piece run for that Ash statue. And he is a full polystone statue. He's not a plastic PVC figure. He is a hefty big piece made by Dynamic Forces. And obviously based off the art of one of my favorites, J. Scott Campbell, where he did the Ash Army of Darkness, Ash versus the Evil Dead, Ash versus Freddy versus Jason comics. He did a whole line of them, and he did all the cover art for a lot of them, and they were really, really fun books. We got to see what if these three ever did collide, and it was really, really fun. We still wish we got a movie, but you know, Bruce won't do it, and it kind of sucks. But this piece in general is so freaking badass. And I get asked every single time, so I'm going to point it out right now. The dirt you see on this piece and stuff is not dust. And I get told to dust this guy every time I show him. That is not dust. That is the way he's painted to look filthy and dirty. So that is dirt on the figure. It is not dusty and nasty. All right. I always make sure I dust my figures off before I show them. All right. So I think he pairs up pretty fun with the Jason because he's kind of, you know, giving her one of those. You know, he's giving her the Bruce Campbell kind of look like, you know, I like that, but do I want to fight her or they pair up cool. It makes a good little kind of funny thing. And I love it. Again, I love the Jason Voorhees Kotobukiya figure. Obviously, it is a figure duo of Freddy and Jason that spawned many of cosplay girls dressing naughty like Freddy and Jason. So it was a figure that kind of spawned a lot of that. I don't know. I still say to this day that takes a lot of credit for it. Not Ash, but the the Jason Voorhees one. But the Freddy Jason line from Kotobukiya definitely spawned this naughty cosplay girls dressing as your horror icons phenomenon that we get now. So shout out to Kotobukiya for nailing it. And Shunya, of course, with the character designs and the artwork that he does for those. But I think this is a really fun duo to put up for Friday the 13th. And again, it gave me another excuse to show off one of my more rare pieces, which of course is the Ash. So I know he is quite expensive nowadays if you're looking for one. I'm going to look it up. He is, he's going for quite a bit, several $100s. Like you're going to be paying a lot more than retail if you're looking for one of these. So it's the unfortunate reality of collecting. You know, if you don't get it when it comes out, or you don't get a good deal, you're screwed. But I do recommend it if you're looking for a cool Ash. You want one that's a little bit more niche, a little bit more hard to find, and is really, really, really awesome quality. And as a bonus, J. Scott Campbell art, I definitely recommend getting yourself one of these. Again, it's going to be harder to find, but damn it, he is phenomenal. And of course, the Jason Voorhees Bishojo. You can't go wrong with that either. She has been reprinted twice. Not for you. I only collect waifu. Well, there's a waifu there. You got the Jason Voorhees. I mean, she's there. That's why I had to pair. I paired them up. I paired them up, so we got a little bit of both. But I definitely recommend either one. They are freaking awesome. And if you were gonna get the um, Jason Voorhees one, make sure that you get the second edition because the first edition ones had such problems with their bases. The bases completely sucked. The newer version of them, the re-release, actually has more stable bases. So make sure you're going to get yourself the first edition or the second edition, not the first editions. The first editions were very poor in their quality control, especially on the Freddy Krueger one, but Jason as well. She topples over a little bit because her axe and stuff is so heavy. So make sure if you're going to get this waifu, get edition 2, not edition 1 like mine is. So just a little PSA for you guys at home. Don't get the first edition because she's going to be cheaper. So, oh, damn. Those abs. It's insane. Jesus. Ash agrees with me. But that was it for the Figure Friday, the 13th. So, normally I kind of cap things at 5 figures. But this week, obviously, we had another holiday, for those of you who have somebody to celebrate it with. So those of you who don't, it was Valentine's Day. And yeah, we definitely went with, I was going to go with something pink or whatever. I didn't really know what to do. So I went ahead and I went with Asuna in this very, very, I'm going to say fancy dress, right? So this is part of the EX Chronicle series. And I actually love this one. I think she's in this like kind of fancy evening gown, I guess, so to speak, with the red shoes, the red accents. So it does fit the Valentine's Day vibe. She actually has several companion pieces that go with her, which there is a Yu-Gi-Oh! There's Yu-Gi-Oh! I believe there's a Yuki, there's a Kirito, there's a Sinon, there's a yeah. So there's pretty much everybody. There's a Lifa, there's Lifa, there's Asuna, there's Yuki, there's Kirito, there's Yu-Gi-Oh, there's Sinon, and I think there's an Alice one as well. So this is part of the Sega SPM line. She's a good one. She's a really good one. I have some of the other ones in this series, and it's strange because they're all in black outfits other than Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Actually wears a blue suit. And it's cool because they all are in their kind of evening wear, but they've got their weapons out. So it's pretty cool. It's like they've come to party, but they've also come to kick ass. So Yu-Gi-Oh! Actually has the blue rose sword in 2 hands. Let me see if I can bring them up. I'll try to bring them up here, some of them. So let's bring up, here's Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm going to bring that up. Let's see, there's Yuki. I'm just going to open some of these in new tabs and see if I can bring them up. Lifa. Kirito I don't actually have. I got to get my hands on one. And I don't have Sinon, and I don't have Alice, I don't think. I have to look down in my storage and see if I do. Oh god, those are really tiny pictures. Never mind. I'm trying to find bigger photos. So let's see. This is actually the Lifa right here. And as you can see, she looks really, really good. So she looked really, really cool. Obviously, you can see she's got kind of her sword out and stuff like that. Very, very cool. And like I said, they're all kind of in outfits. So let's see. This is the Kirito right here. And I really, really like that one. I like how he's kind of nonchalantly leaning on both the swords. I think that one's kind of awesome. Not gonna lie, I need that one. And then one of the other ones I actually need is this one right here, which is the Xenon. It's really, really nice. That one I think looks absolutely fantastic. I don't know how the green shoes are a little strange, but whatever. And then the other one here is actually the Alice one, which while I'm not a huge fan of her character, she looks pretty freaking awesome. Like I'm not gonna lie, like she definitely looks cool. So it is a cool line, and they are, obviously they're a cheaper line. They're Sega prize figures, so they're not like the most expensive. But oh, I have the picture of Yu-Gi-Oh right here. Let's bring up Yu-Gi-Oh real quick. Yu-Gi-Oh, it's interesting because he's the only one wearing blue. So let's see if I got him right here. So yeah, as you can see right there, he's rocking the blue outfit, and he's got the sword out. So Asuna went away. There we go. Brought Asuna back while I was chatting about it. Um, but yeah, she's really gorgeous. Like I said, I have to actually try to find the rest of these because I know I have Yuki, and I know I have Yu-Gi-Oh, and I know I have Lifa, but I don't think I have Sinon, Alice, or Kirito. So I got to track those down. They're going to be a little bit harder to find. But you guys seem to really enjoy on the on the TikTok side. Sword Art seems to do very, very well when I post Kirito stuff. So Asuna, not too much. This one actually did get flagged on TikTok for adult content. I don't know if it's because of the high cut of the dress, but I mean, goddamn, this is not adult content. It's very, very mild, but that's just kind of what it does when you're on social media filled with girls that are posting themselves half naked and getting millions of views. But you post a figure showing some legs, ooh, you're in trouble. But I think it's a fantastic line. The only thing I hate about it, and you guys probably know I'm going to say it, is that massive freaking base. It does not need to be like that. I appreciate that it's a hex base, so they can all kind of connect together. But damn, that thing's annoying, man. I would have been nicer to just make a smaller base. I know they can press against each other because of the hex bases, like pop-up parades do, but that thing is just so massive. It's so annoying. But hey, whatever. It is what it is. They do look really cool when you set them up together, though. So, highly recommend them. Again, if you're looking for variety in your sword art collection, I always say that. I love when you get characters in different costumes, different poses, stuff like that. It spices up your collection a little bit. It adds variety. I have Asuna in her goddess costumes, her standard costumes, her the very beginning of SAO costume where she's kind of like in, like, I guess the prequel, you want to say, where she's in her standard original gear. I've got ones of her in a towel, just standing there in a towel. I've got the cheerleader asana, the bathing suit asana, so having a different variety, and the bunny girls. So having a variety kind of spices up your shelf a little bit. It adds a little bit of flair. And then of course I have this evening gown one, which looks absolutely fantastic. So I always recommend to people, if you're into a character specifically, try to change up your collection a little bit by adding these various costumes and things like that. You might not like bunny girls, but having a bunny girl of your favorite character in your shelf is going to add a little bit more spice. You might not like something like this where she's just in like an evening gown because she's not in her standard costumes. But having that figure in your collection is going to spice up your display a little bit. It's going to make those ones actually stand out. And by making those ones that are different stand out, it's going to make the other ones in your display pop. I mean, I know I can't really talk on displays and how to set them up right now. Mine are very, very basic right now because I'm still moving everything around. But once I get my other 6 shelves put up, um, we'll have things a little bit more consistent over here. So very, very cool. Again, I highly, highly recommend her and pretty much that entire other line of the EX Chronicles because, again, they're a very different look. So highly, highly recommend them, guys. Check them out. And yeah, it'll be something different for your collection. So that's it for the figures this week. And what I always do here at the end of the figures is I give kind of my favorite higher end and my favorite lower end. Well, it's not really fair because we only had one higher end. And well, it was a duo of higher ends. So my higher end pick of the week is obviously gonna go to the Friday the 13th duo of the Kotobukiya Jason Voorhees and the Dynamic Forces Ash from the Evil Dead. So that's a no-brainer because they were the only expensive figures. Now, as far as the lower end stuff, oof, that's a tough one. That is a tricky one to oof, because there were some good ones. But you know what? I think if I'm going from sculpt, price, things like that, and just I want to say more rarity of what the character is, I'm gonna have to give my pick of the week for the lower end stuff to Urza Scarlet from the Pop-Up Parade line. I think that she is, again, sorry, I had to sneeze. I think she is, again, a rarity where we don't have enough lower end and affordable figures of this character. So I think that's where this edges out the others as far as my favorite. And it's also an amazing sculpt. You know, like I said, Papa Parades have fantastic sculpts. They always look great, other than a couple exceptions. And this one is no slouch. She looks absolutely amazing. The armor, the details, everything looks great. And you know, again, it's a character that we don't get enough affordable figures of. So I cannot sing her praises enough. Again, just like with the rest of the line, Natsu, Gray, Lucy, just they're all phenomenal. And I cannot recommend them highly enough. Don't slouch on Papa Parades, man. I know they've gone up in price a little bit. You're looking at like 35 to 40 bucks now for a Papa Parade, but they don't slouch on the quality. They actually look really, really good. So if you guys are looking for more affordable figures, look into the Pop-Up Parade lines, especially if it's a series that doesn't get a lot of figures. You'll probably be able to find some affordable Pop-Up Parades. So Urza and the boys and girls from Fairy Tail all look awesome. I think, oh yeah, I even have Wendy too. So yeah, I forgot about Wendy. Wendy's there too. So definitely check them out. And again, she is my pick this week. So my picks were Urza and, of course, the Friday the 13th duo of Jason and Ash. So those are my picks of the week. Let me know who your favorites were down in the comments or right here in the chat. Let me know who your favorites were this week. And, you know, again, as this series kind of evolves and goes on, I want to eventually do a monthly episode where we're going to have the best of the month where everyone votes and we do that. But those were the figures this week. Again, I'm going to do a quick recap of the figures. So obviously for Miku Monday, we had the Sega Project Diva Arcade Rin. Again, you guys love when I post Rin-chan. She is always a popular one here on the channel. Twin Tuesday, went with the doo-doo brown costume Amelia. That is such a weird one. I don't even know, guys. It's a weird one. It stands out in the collection. As I said at the beginning of the stream, other people question if this is actually a legit figure or not. She is. There it is in the title. She is the Fluffy Materials Amelia. And I have no idea what's going on with this one. But she's there. She's Amelia. She looks different. And she stands out in the collection. And of course, Waifu Wednesday, we just covered, was Urza Scarlet from the Good Smile Company Pop Parade series. Reincarnated Thursday from Tensura, Reincarnated Slime, went to the Bandai Spirits Benimaru. Of course, looking absolutely badass. Figure Friday, of course, we just covered this. The duo of the Kotobukiya Jason Voorhees and the Dynamic Forces Ash Williams. Wait till Bruce comes in here with the chin before we change over to the next one. Of course, that was based off the art by the amazing J. Scott Campbell. And we finished off the week, of course, with the Valentine's special, which was the EX Chronicle Asuna by Sega, looking absolutely gorgeous in her kind of evening wear, still with her blade out, ready to kick some ass. So those were all the figures that I highlighted last week on the channel. And yeah, now, before I get into some topics, I'm going to actually step away for 1 second. I'm going to grab two figures that I'm going to kind of show as a little bit of a preview. They're in the other room. So let me step away for 1 second. We are going to... I'm trying to figure out if I want to do this right this second. Yep. All right. So I'm going to do this right now. I'm going to step out. I'm going to go grab these figures. I'm going to show them off real quick because I'm pretty excited about them. So be right back in 1 second. All right, see, that didn't take that long. So that didn't take too long. But I actually got three figures. So three new figures this week. This one I picked up really cheap. She was like 80% off, and I had to get her because it's Rem and it's someone unique. It's something I don't have. Well, it's not someone unique, but it's an outfit that is very unique. So this is the Morning Star dress Rem. And this thing just looks so freaking cool, man. I've never actually seen this one before, so I had to get her. And I think she was on the clearance for like $11. So I had to grab her. So a little bit of a spoiler. We'll probably be showing her off in a prize figure face off. And then something that I got that was really cool, guys. If you know, my kind of stance on things where it comes to creature collector games, right? I'm not the biggest... I want to say I'm not the biggest shill for Pokemon, all right? I think Pokemon is one of the most mid of the creature collectors. She looks badass. No, she does. She is so badass looking. But I'm not a huge Pokemon stan, right? I have always been someone who prefers my creature capturing in the digital space, right? So I was excited to get some new Ichiban Kuji figures, and I gotta show them today. Look at these Digimon Kuji figures. We got Agumon and Gabumon, a duo. Oh my god, get out of the way, Light. These I'm so freaking excited for. Like, oh my god. The fact that I got these, I'm so freaking excited. I'm a sucker for Ichiban Kuji figures, and I love Digimon. If you guys have not played Time Stranger, the newest game, oh my god, play it. It's freaking phenomenal. And unlike Pokemon, it actually has a story. So one of the things I always praise Digimon for is it actually has like a story and like stakes. Where Pokemon, yeah, whatever. I could get into that argument and discussion with people all day, but also to go with that duo, I got their final form, which is the Omnimon Ichiban Kuji figure as well. And man, I'm so stoked to unbox and review these two. I'm going to do them together in one video because they do, essentially these boys turn into this boy when they combine their powers, and I am so excited to have them. Now, there are two others in this Kuji set as well. I did not get yet, and they are the what were they? There was the evil one, and there was another one. Which ones were they? So there was Imperial Draymond Paladin mode, and then there was what was the other one? There was another one too. The evil one, the demon-looking one. What the hell one was it? I have to remember which one it was. I'm actually looking right now for which one it was because I forget, and I can't find him anymore. There's a bunch of Kujis actually, but some of them are a little bit smaller than these ones, so I didn't want to grab them yet. But I'm trying to figure out which one it is. It is the... Oh my goodness. It's like the demon one. I forget what his name is now. I'm forgetting which one it was. It's the Diabromon. So it's like the big like demon looking one. He comes with him. Let's see if I can pull this up. Let's see, can I pull this one up? Yeah, so we got this one right here, which is pretty freaking cool. Obviously, that's the evil version for the Clash of Light and Darkness. And then we've got this one here, which is the Imperial Draymon, the Paladin mode. So that's this one right here. And he looks pretty freaking cool too. So definitely ones that look really, really awesome. It's a really cool set. And then there actually is another set that came before this, which I got to try to get my hands on as well. So that consisted of like War Greymon and stuff like that. So I definitely want to look into getting my hands on those. But as being older Kuji figures, they're a little bit more expensive. So probably not going to happen. But I'm so excited for Agumon and Gabumon. So excited for these two. So psyched for them. And, to expand my Digimon collection because I don't have enough Digimon stuff. So, now what I want to go ahead and discuss kind of is, last week I talked a little bit about Highguard, and how it's not really been doing too good. It's not been doing very good, guys. Yeah, it is not. It's struggling, and I don't really know what to say about Highguard, man, other than just we all saw this coming, right? We definitely did. We saw this coming 150%. So what I want to do here is we're gonna talk about this real quick, but just to kind of put things in perspective, let's take a look right now at the Steam charts and the active players and everything right now. Let's take a look real quick. Let's just check it on Highguard. Let's do a wellness check on Highguard. Ooh, that that is rough. Those are rough numbers. Um, 1 second. I think I'm gonna sneeze. Excuse me. Okay. Sorry. Whew, I just had like a 10 sneeze fit there. So yeah, Highguard is oof, we're hurting here, guys. Highguard is hurting. 1,200 active players right now, and in the last 24 hours, we've had 2,045 peak players. Highguard's not doing very good. And, it leads me into this right here. And I know I'm on IGN. IGN is kind of, they're something. This is interesting because this game just came out like 2 weeks ago. And we've already got this. Most of Highguard's studio has been laid off. Wildlight confirms cuts. That's not something that you want. What are we, 2 weeks out? Almost 3 weeks out after launch. Less than a month from launch. This isn't Concord level failure, but this is a definite indicator of, I guess you want to say, F around and find out, right? This game came out and it looked like the most generic of generic things, right? And people were crapping on it right from the rip. It was touted by, at the Game Awards as, oh, it's going to be some amazing game. Jeff Keighley was praising it and trying to do damage control with it. And everyone knew this was bogus, right? The game was getting crapped on by everybody. I mean, I saw that trailer at the Game Awards. I was hyped for something really cool. And I instantly just went and deflated as soon as I saw this. I was like, it's another generic looking hero shooter that's going to last for about a month, right? Most of these games do not have longevity. They do not have the legs. And Highguard is another example. We have too many of these games. There is too many games in this genre right now where unless you are bringing something extreme that's going to catch and just keep people coming back, like Marvel Rivals has seemed to done, right? You're not gonna survive in this sphere, okay? And this game right here is another just classic example. I'm willing to see that we're gonna hear Wildlight Entertainment right here is gonna be gone within the next couple months. I don't see this studio staying open through summer. I just don't. And right here, these layoffs, this is crazy. So I'll read a little bit of this. It's an IGN article, so it's going to be filled with pop-ups and ads and nonsense and just word filler, right? But just to give a little bit of clarity here, it says layoffs have hit development studio Wildlight Entertainment, makers of the recently released, sorry, I had to laugh, the recently released multiplayer shooter Highguard. This comes just over 2 weeks after the free-to-play game's January 26th launch. So again, this is a couple weeks ago. January 26th, this game came out. And wait, what are these numbers again? Let's refresh. 1,244 people online right now. There are YouTubers that are streaming right now with more concurrent viewers than this has. That's not a good thing for your game. And again, back to this. We just had a bunch of layoffs. Unfortunately, one of the senior level designers, unfortunately, along with most of the team at Wildlight, I was laid off today. Now, I'm not laughing because people lost their jobs, right? That sucks. But again, when you have a studio that puts out trash, Same thing, whether it's video games, whether it's Hollywood, whatever it is. If you put out a crappy product, if you put out an inferior product, if you put out something people don't want, you kind of get what you deserve. And I know these people are just here. They're doing the job. They're doing the job they're hired for. Just like Hollywood people, celebrities, all that stuff. They're here doing a job. They're here doing what they're paid to do. But in this case, again, if you put out a crappy product, you're going to get crappy results. And a company like this, I don't see them being around much longer. I feel this company is going to go under by summer. So we've got, he said literally the majority of the team was laid off. So 51 to 200 employees. That's a lot. So today we made an incredibly difficult decision to part ways with a number of our team members while keeping a core group of devs to continue innovating on and supporting the game, which that translates to this game is dying. We probably won't stick around very long, and sorry. So it's very, very, on one hand, it's crappy to see, but on the other hand, it is the FAFO, kind of situation where you make something that people are panning. You make something people, again, a couple weeks after release, people aren't playing. And when you are in that online multiplayer sphere, that isn't good. We've got other games in this sphere. Like I said last week, Fortnite, always innovating, always just getting people in. You're never going to topple Fortnite. You're just not going to do it. Fortnite is massive. It is this huge just conglomerate of just everything that anybody can find something they're going to be interested in playing. You're never going to topple that. Okay? You're not going to go and you're not going to topple all your popular hero shooters. Sure, they're going to dip and they're going to peak and they're going to dip again, right? You're going to have your Overwatches, your Marvel Rivals. You're going to have your paid games like Helldivers. You're going to have your Arc Raiders. You're going to have all these games. They're going to have their peaks and they're going to drop. They're going to peak. They're going to drop when new content comes out. That's how any persistent online game does. When you don't even have that start, you don't even have a peak to start with, you're done. You're doomed. And like I said, I tried the game. I downloaded it. I tried it. I thought it was the most generic, uninspired thing I've ever played as far as all these free-to-play hero shooters are. And it's not even my genre. I don't even like them. I thought Overwatch was generic when I played it. So I know it's not a game made for me. But you have to ask yourself, who is it made for? And that's the problem a lot of these developers have, is they make games for a reason, and it's not the right reasons. It's not a reason for, we're not making this game for fans. We're not making this game of fans of this or fans of that. We're making this game because me. And that's the problem with a lot of developers. You look at guys like Sandfall that made Expedition 33. These guys just went, we want to make a game for fans. We want to make a game that everyone's going to... And they did it. And then we have all these crappy games that come out. All these stupid, garbage hero shooter games. I think people are tired of hero shooters. You don't want to play 8 different hero shooters. You don't want to play 8 different MMOs. You just don't. And when the market is too flooded with them, and there are big dogs in that area, just stay out of it. I'm sorry to tell you guys, but it's a great way to fail. It's a great way to lose your studio. It's a great way to go under. Go into a niche, find your niche, stick with that niche for a little while, and then start to branch out as you gain more traction. Look at what FromSoft does. FromSoft has their niche, and they stay in that lane, and they just keep churning out those freaking Souls games. People love them, though. They know their lane, they've stuck to it, and they're just going with it, right? And that's kind of what you have to do in this market. Now, I hate to say it, but like a Nintendo's got their niche, and they stick to their niche, and their fans just keep coming back for it. Pokemon, same way. Pokemon games don't evolve. They're all freaking mostly trash. They don't do anything innovative. people keep coming back though, because they did the work. They got the hooks in already. If you can't put a game out at the gate and get the hooks into people, you're done. Like, that's it. So, it's just kind of like food for thought. Like, I don't know. It's just these developers don't care about the players or the viewers or the fans. They care about what they want. This is me. This is me. Well, if you make something focused on you and what you want and what your views and you're this and you're that, then it's only going to appeal to the people who are looking for what you want. And if what you want is just mediocrity, people aren't going to come to it. And that's what happened with Highguard. It's just, again, it's the most bland, just paint by numbers, just kind of game. And, it's survived longer than Concord, I guess. I mean, I could say that, but there's nothing else I can really say about it. It's just, and I think these numbers are in a very, very, very bad kind of inkling here of just this studio isn't going to last, So I don't know. That's some that's the negative stuff, right? The negative, we got that out of the way. The game's trash. Nobody cares about it, right? We got that. It's done. It sucks. Nobody wants it. But let's go, before I end the stream today. This is going to be a little bit of a longer kind of topic, I think. I want to talk about Sony's state of play. And, I'm a PlayStation guy. I have been since day one. I know their state of plays have been pretty hit or miss. But I have to say, this newest state of play, I saw people, on Twitter crying about, oh, this is a fail. No Final Fantasy announcement. There's more games than Final Fantasy. Okay, I'm just going to tell people that. Final Fantasy VII is going to be finished in like 8 years. You guys will get it in like a decade, okay? Don't worry about it. You'll get it. Me personally, as a side note, I don't care about Final Fantasy VII. It's not even in my top 5 Final Fantasies, but that's just my opinion. There's more games than Final Fantasy, okay? Don't need to crap on the state of play because we didn't get Final Fantasy, okay? So I want to go, and I'm just going to go through the recap real quick, right, on the PlayStation blog. And we'll kind of look at a couple of these things. I'm not going to go through the trailers yet. I might actually click a couple of them and see here, because I think they're all just brought up here. I was going to actually bring them up separately, but they're all here on the PlayStation blog. So I'm going to switch over to the PlayStation blog. Let me see. And we'll just go with the state of play. We'll see what they showed off here. And I'm going to go just from the actual Sony blog here, and we'll just kind of see what happens, right? So let's see if I can bring this up here. I got some massive stuff going on outside. I don't know if there's a car accident, but hopefully you guys didn't hear all that. So yeah, I mean, we had quite a bit of stuff, and unfortunately, I wasn't able to live react to it. I definitely wanted to, but unfortunately, I wasn't able to because problems with my house and stuff. But I'm just gonna go down this list here, and we'll talk a little bit about them. One of the games I'm a little iffy about here, and this is the 007 First Light, right? This got announced a while ago, so we just saw some more story stuff and things like that. We're going to have, obviously, a younger Bond, things like that. And it's made by the studio that's did the Hitman games. So, and one part, we're going to probably have something gameplay-wise that's going to be good, right? But the things that kind of bothered me was they stated that it's going to bring 007 for a modern audience. And when you say modern audience, that immediately takes me out of it, because that is one of their buzzwords and their buzz phrases that means they're going to do a lot of cringy things to it, right? They started doing that when all the Sweet Baby Inc. stuff came up, and they were doing all these DEI initiatives and things like that. And they were just putting all this crap into games, and they still do it. But when you tell me that we're going to have Bond for a modern audience, that makes me a little nervous. I mean, I do have faith in IO Entertainment in making a game with good gameplay, because the Hitman games are fantastic. So I'm going to keep my eye on this one. Not one I really want to stick on here. I'm just going to see if this will do anything here. But yeah, so I'm going to mute this real quick, but I just want to see if there's any actual gameplay in this trailer. Not really. Let's see. There's a little bit of gameplay here. I'm going to see here if we can do this. So one of the things here I'm going to say right off the rip, right, is this game is giving Uncharted vibes to me, okay? It seems like IO went, you know, those Uncharted games were pretty good. Let's go and make Bond, but turn him into Nathan Drake. Like, all this stuff, this little clip right here that we just watched, reminds me of an Uncharted game. It doesn't scream James Bond. And I know he's, again, even in this screenshot right here, this just pause frame, he's in jeans and a dirty t-shirt. And that doesn't scream Bond to me. I know this is his early career, but it reminds me more of, like, if I was to just show this still frame right here, or even like anything further on in this trailer right here, going through the walls right here, blowing up walls, especially, let's see, this part back here where he's going across like some scaffoldings right here. He's going behind cover. I just feel like if you were to show this to people, they'd go, oh, is there a new Uncharted? Right here, look at this. I'm just skipping ahead in the video. All of this just screams Uncharted to me, and not necessarily, look, he's kicking stuff at, this doesn't scream Bond to me. So I don't know. It's just my quick little thought on it. I don't think it's going to be the most amazing game ever. It might just be inoffensive, I guess. I don't know. But that was, for that game, whatever. It is what it is. But excuse me. So another game, I didn't really look much at this, For Loop. So this is like a co-op shooter. And again, nothing I'm really interested in. But it had some, cool graphics and things, I guess. But this kind of looks another inoffensive, kind of generic shooter, right? It doesn't look like anything crazy. So I don't think there's anything really to see here. I don't think there's anything revolutionary here. It just looks like another generic game. And honestly, it kind of reminds me of that old Xbox game, Brute Force, which, I loved that game, but it was kind of a by the numbers. But I mean, these character designs, all this, it looks so generic. And coming off of just talking about Highguard, this looks very bland and boring and generic. But they got jetpacks, so it's just, I don't know. It kind of just looks like something that people are gonna maybe play when it's free, or if it's free, but nothing really crazy to me. I don't think it looks very good at all. Which will teleport anyone who touches it to a random distant location. So as I said here, like it just feels generic, So really, nothing to see here. This looks like another just generic thing, right? This here, and since I already talked about Pokemon, this here looks interesting to me. So, Beast of Reincarnation. This is actually a game that is not a Pokemon game, made by the Pokemon developers at Game Freak. So, what I'm wondering is this what this studio is actually capable of when they don't have Nintendo lording over them? And if so, why can't we get a better Pokemon game? So I'm going to take a look at this trailer. I'm going to mute my mic for a second. I don't want to get any feedback, but this looks really, really awesome. And I'm going to pause through it, obviously, and make some comments. But this I am actually pretty curious about. So let's take a look at it real quick. So right there, right here, this is again Game Freak, the guys that make the Pokemon games for Nintendo, and just that little intro right there, with the freaking wolf coming in and attacking the animal and her latching on to stuff, that already looks insanely good, right? I'm already impressed. I'm already that just beginning to that trailer. I'm locked in. I'm ready. Okay, and it's just making me wonder, like, why can't we get a better Pokemon game just from this little tiny clip alone? So I'm fascinated by it. I'm gonna see what the rest of this looks like. So this here, okay, just going from just what we've just seen right here. Like I said, I don't want to interfere with my mic with the feedback here, but so I'm pausing. This right here, just this little bit that we saw, it has all kinds of elements going for it. It's like Game Freak looked at Stellar Blade, Nier, Neo, and Sekiro, and just went, you know what? I think we can try that. And it looks like they just took those games and just put them in a blender, and then they threw in the wolf companion from like the old school Shadow Dancer games and went, hey, you know what? We can put a pet in that, because you know what? We do Pokemon. Let's just throw a pet in there. And it just looks freaking awesome. Looking at this game, you would not know these are the guys who make those shit Pokemon games. Like, it's crazy. And I know this is just a teaser, but dude, my mind is blown when I'm watching this thing. It looks so freaking good. Like, I want to see if I can skip ahead here to just some more of the gameplay. But, like, even this right here, this looks so freaking cool. Bro, right there, we got the pet going in and attacking. We got the parrying, we got the dodging, the counterattacking, the hitting the enemy up in the air. You see there, the dog hits the enemy up into the sky, and you pull out a freaking hand crossbow and start pelting the dude. And then you run up at him and start slashing him in midair. So it's got like combo juggling, like Devil May Cry stuff. Like, bro, this game looks so freaking good. I am so wanting this to be an amazing game. And I just, my hype for it after seeing the state of play trailer is ridiculous. Like, I mean, just look, I just jumped to a part of the video and just look at how gorgeous this thing looks. You know, and it adds to more of my curiosity. What is with the plant like tail on the doggo? You know, with all the flowers and stuff growing on. What is the story behind that? And again, we've seen even with the main character, she almost gets like a vine type grapple, and she can grapple at stuff. So, like, just going through and freeze framing points in this trailer, I'm already hyped for this. So this is, again, Beast of Reincarnation, another W trailer, I gotta say, from the state of play. I'm super, super excited about this. Um, let's see what else we got. This I'm actually a little curious about. Brigandine Abyss. Now, this is actually, again, this is an old series, so we're kind of bringing it back. Is it going to appeal to everybody? No, but to me, I love my niche JRPG, strategy RPG games, so I'm hyped for it. I'm going to mute it so I can kind of just go through. It's a very, very short series. Brigandine is a tactical strategy RPG game. And again, you can see here it's grid based. Nothing crazy going on in the trailer here. It looks very, very basic, but I think this is going to be one of those games that lots of people are going to play. A lot like the Unicorn Overlord game. So if you see here, this game, look at the creators working on this game. I'm going to backtrack here. So we've got right here, we've got the dude, we've got the supervisor who did Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. We've got character designs from Suikoden and Eiyuden Chronicles and Fire Emblem Heroes. So we've got some amazing character design leads, right? Music, we've got the guy who did Okami, Bayonetta, and Fire Emblem. This game's got a good pedigree. The scenarios is from the Sengoku Basara series. So if you don't know those, they're basically like a more Japanese anime inspired Dynasty Warriors. Very, very cool game series. And it has a pretty good pedigree of people working on it. So I'm kind of looking forward to this, but it's one of those games that's going to fly under people's radar, right? Of course, we have Castlevania Belmont's Curse. Again, we're going to get a whole new Castlevania game. You know, and it's got, I mean, it's classic Castlevania. Hopefully they don't screw this up because again, Metroidvanias are classics. This looks really, really good. The art style is very clean, so I'm very much looking forward to it. I think it's going to be cool. I'm a sucker for the kind of 2D side scrollers, obviously, but this looks very, very clean, very, very polished. So hopefully we get a good game out of this. I know there have been some iffy ones in the past, but if it's anything like the Bloodstained games, those were phenomenal. So if you guys are into Castlevania, I definitely recommend checking out the Bloodstained games. Those are what I consider spiritual successors to Castlevania. But this is something I'm going to definitely check out and probably get into. It looks really, really cool. Control Resonant. I didn't play the first Control. I have it. I just never played it. So I really don't want to get into this one. I know when this came on screen, I kind of zoned out because I didn't want to spoil anything for myself. But we had this right here, Crimson Moon. This one I actually missed. So it looks like we're going to have a co-op RPG. I want to take a look at this. Oh God, you have to actually enter your birth date. Jeez, that's crazy. I don't know, I'll just enter. There we go. Wow, I actually entered my birthday for that one. So this is definitely given off generic Souls game 999 to me. Um, Maybe it has some potential, but he looks like a generic war from uh Darksiders, and then he turns into an angel. And yeah, I don't know. It just looks like, again, generic Souls game, 999, and maybe we'll get generic Souls game 1000. But I don't know how I feel about it. Not really too excited about it. Doesn't really seem that great. Darwin's Paradox. It was another kind of uh side scrollery kind of thing. I don't know. This one I didn't even look at. Very, very weird kind of indie game. This I was very excited about. As y'all know me, I'm a huge Dead or Alive whore. I do stream the Dead or Alive volleyball on the channel. I stream the Dead or Alive dating sim on the channel. So I was very excited when we got this little teaser. So this character right here, she was not in Dead or Alive 6, the basic edition, unless this is a various costume. I'm pretty sure this is one of the newer characters added to the later games. But I was very excited until I saw this Dead or Alive 6 last round, right? I thought we were getting a new Dead or Alive game, and I was very, very hyped. But getting I don't even know how old it is now. What is it, 6 years old now? It's something like that. It's an old game, right? So we're getting the last round version of it, meaning it's going to be kind of the complete edition. Maybe, maybe not, because Dead or Alive 6 had a lot of themed and crossover costumes, which I'm sure we won't get. And obviously, it looks like the jiggle physics of Dead or Alive and everything are still here, right? So it looks like we're going to have some of the Ninja Gaiden crossover characters, obviously, here. This is Kasumi's doppelganger. We'll see. I'm gonna play it muted right now so I can talk over it. We got Neo Tengu, obviously. You guys watch me play the volleyball game. You see her in there. We've got the Kasumi clone. But here, she is actually new to the game. This is one of the characters that was in the Venus Vacation games that you can date, and she is an alcoholic party girl whore of just from the dating game. That's my experience with her. And you can see back here, we've got the Zach of all trades behind us. So we're going to get Dead or Alive volleyball themed levels. And I'm fascinated about that because I am all for it. You're giving us new characters. That's a good job, Team Ninja. Thank you. And you're giving us the characters that I've been talking about in my streams of Venus Vacation. Like, I hope we get these characters. So this right here is a win for me. Got me a little bit more excited. We're bringing Momiji. We're bringing all the girls from the Ninja Gaiden games, of course. And it just has the same flow. But if you look here, you have camera mode. And you can actually move where the characters go. So I think that's going to make for some very interesting photo mode opportunities. So we'll see what happens. But, going through the rest of this, we didn't really show much else. But this girl right here, I'm going to show her real quick. I forget her name. But she was actually a downloadable character in Dead or Alive 6 right here. So this girl, I forget her name. Honestly, I think I only played as her like twice. So we got the reveal for one new character, which of course is right here. And if you want, we can actually start up the dating game this week and I'll try to romance her instead. But she is the alcoholic party girl in Dead or Alive volleyball. Not volleyball, but the Venus Vacation. So I'm very excited for that. But then I got a little disappointed because right here, only available digitally. And that made me kind of like get sad because I hate digital only games. So I'm hoping we're going to be able to import this one and I can get a physical copy because digital only is like a no-go for me. I hate it. But at worst, I'm going to try the Core Fighters available at launch, which is the free-to-play version. So we'll see what happens. But I was very excited about that. You know, Death Stranding 2 PC announcement. One of my favorite games of last year. I think it was definitely is my top 3 games of last year. It was Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2, Digimon. Very, very good game. I streamed the entirety of that thing on the channel and loved it. This, I was so, oh my God, I lost my mind for this. Yes, I was very excited for this. Like, no screenshots or anything, but this is just epicness. Just that alone, with that little splash screen and the music, had me hyped enough. And then Sony does this, and they bring out the man to talk just a little tiny bit about it, and I was freaking hyped right here. So that right there, bringing TC Carson back as the OG Kratos voice actor and bringing him back, amazing. I'm so excited that he's coming back as the OG voice actor, not taking anything away from, you know, new Kratos, we're going to call him, but TC is the OG, and I'm glad for the OG trilogy. He's coming back, and it's going to make everything feel like the original game. So I'm hoping we get it. I mean, obviously he goes on for like 2 minutes talking about uh we don't really have anything to show you yet, but next time we will. So my only concern about this before I move on to the next thing is my only concern is if you played the OG God of War trilogy and even the Vita games and the PSP games, there was a lot of naughty things going on in those games. You know, we had the sex mini games, we had the naked boobs everywhere. You know, we had all that everywhere in that game. We even, you know, Kratos bangs the goddess of love, you know, things like that. So my only thing is are we going to get all those now things that we look at as being kind of cringy? Are those going to be in the game? Or is it going to be toned down? And that's my only worry is, are we going to have that same kind of design? Was that banging goddesses? Yes, exactly. The mini games. Yes, you get it. You get it. So that's my only kind of, I mean, I don't want to say concern, but are they gonna stick to the classic? You know, I don't know. Ghost of Yote. I mean, who cares about that? I tried it. It was whatever. It doesn't feel the same. She isn't a very interesting character. Her story is just I want to kill everybody, and that's her whole story. She's kind of a trash, just kind of throwaway character. I didn't care about it. I don't care about Yote, and I don't care about Legends. So that's just my take on that. The John Wick game, I'm going to do this. I'm going to play it muted because we don't really need the copyright music. But this I'm a little curious about, and it's only because I'm going to zip through some of this to the actual very minimal gameplay portion that they show. They showed a very quick clip that looked like gameplay. And maybe it wasn't in this video. Oh, it wasn't in this right here. So here at the end of the video, we get a little bit of gameplay. I was going to sneeze again. And it reminds me of Max Payne. And if we can capture that, then I'm all for it. So this reminds me a little bit of Max Payne. I mean, with, stabbing people at close range and stuff like that. Or even true crime Streets of LA and Streets of New York and things like that, or Sleeping Dogs. So just those little bit of clips kind of reminds me of that. This I was very, very excited for because I adored Kina and the Bridge of Spirits. Absolutely adored it. And this is going to take place in the future where she's a little older. So already we've got super cute new little creatures here for everyone to fawn over, right? So we have the little sprites and we've got little cute little doggos here. And this is going to be obviously an older Kina. I'm just going to zip through some of this to go towards some gameplay and just right here. So this looks, I want to show this. This looks incredible. We're going to have some mounts and I'm going to show this right now. That just looks so freaking awesome. Like, I love the first game, so I'm hyped for this. So it looks already like we're going to be definitely going towards a little bit more of a darker story, a more adult story, because obviously we're going to have a more adult Kina. But this looks so phenomenal. The graphics look fantastic on it. The first game was a beautiful game. And the combat looks like it's going to be a lot more improved. We're going to have a lot more things. So Scars of Cosmora. And I believe this is supposed to come out this year. So very, very excited for that one. Oh, this I lost my mind over, you guys. We got the Soul Reaver remastered, which I do want to play on stream, but people haven't been too interested in it. But we're getting Legacy of Kain Defiance remastered, and it's coming out next freaking month. Let's go. Like this, if you haven't played the Legacy of Kain games, dude, so good. So obviously, Legacy of Kain is going to be, of course, about Kain, right? Your main bad guy, right? Your main vampire. And Soul Reaver is, of course, about Raziel. So two different characters, like different perspectives, things like that. So very, very cool. And we're going to get the remake. And I want to see if they actually show it. But Kain is awesome. We've got, oh man, I'm so excited. This is when you play as both, right? And you're going to get the two sides of the story. You get two different gameplay styles. This is classic OG gameplay. I am so excited for it. So here we've got some comparisons. They're definitely cleaning things up a lot. And I am all for it when they just do something like that and they clean up a game, right? It doesn't need to be rebuilt from the ground up. But this one I'm very, very excited for. I loved these games. They were so freaking good. This is back when Crystal Dynamics was like at its peak. We had Soul Reaver, we had Legacy of Kain, we had Tomb Raider, the classic Tomb Raider games. Peak. They kind of fell off a little bit, but I was excited about that. Marathon, dude, Marathon, this looks like, again, another generic, uninspired, kind of just by the numbers shooter that people are going to forget about tomorrow. It's Bungie. They're going to go back to Marathon. So March 5th, this launches. by March 10th, people are going to be back on Destiny because this is going to go nowhere. This just looks, I mean, we just talked about it with the Highguard. This looks like so generic. This doesn't look like Bungie's best work. This looks like we got Bungie's D team, and I'm not excited for it. I'm not looking forward to it. And I don't think I know anyone who actually is. That's my take on Marathon. Very, very, very low take. We did get the X-Men announcement for Tokon Fighting Spirits, which I'm pretty excited about. I don't know how the 4v4 combat is going to be, but the character designs do look pretty cool. So we're going to take a quick look at. So she looks good. She's voice acted good. And, it looks like the gameplay is going to be a lot like, obviously, Marvel vs. Capcom. But this looks really smooth. I mean, this is even Spider-Man costume from the PlayStation game by the looks of it. This looks like a lot similar to that one. So very, very cool kind of Sony kind of throw to it. And we're going to get, obviously, let's see if we show her right here. So we're going to get another companion. We're going to get. So we're getting Magic and we're getting Wolverine, obviously voiced by the OG. I mean, I think Steve's the only guy who's been voicing Wolverine consistently since the 90s. I think it's this. I think it's him still reprising from X-Men animated series. So very, very excited. And then last but not least, so looks like we've got the Xavier School. We got Colossus chilling here in the background. And I think the last character is definitely someone I did not see coming. So I would not have expected Danger to be a playable character. Very, very unique character. And it's going to be cool because now you're going to have a robot going against Iron Man. So very, very cool. I mean, the roster isn't huge so far. And it's coming out in August. So, I mean, we still have time to see more roster, but for 4-on-4, we're gonna need a little bit more roster to this one, but I definitely want to keep an eye out. Not gonna go through this video. We are getting Metal Gear 4 and Metal Gear Peace Walker remakes or Master Collection. This one was just another little indie game. Mina Howler, I don't really care about that one. Just Nevia Prologue, another indie game. They announced PlayStation Plus. Obviously, this I'm looking so forward to. Pragmata. This is going to be Dead Space Babysitter's Club. Like, I don't know, but it looks so fun. I played the demo on PC. I downloaded it on my PlayStation. I absolutely love it. I think this is going to be so cool. I'm going to take a quick jump through some of it. So as you can see here, like you have her on your back and she's an android and she can hack things while you're in combat. But this is cool. I haven't seen anything other than being inside the spaceship in the demo. So this trailer that they've shown actually makes me a little more interested. I thought it was all going to take place on a ship because that's all the demo is. You're in the ship and whatever. But now we're seeing we're going to go down to the planet and we're going to see kind of a dilapidated planet. We've got these crazy posters in the background here. It looks almost like a New York City or a Tokyo. She's chilling on our back here the whole time. It's cool because your character, he looks like a white version of Isaac from Dead Space. and he has like little steps on his back, and she stands on his back. It's really, really cool. And the hacking adds a little bit of a unique twist to things. But yeah, it looks like we're going to have these crazy looking, like evil, demonic baby mechs fighting us. I mean, this looks. I mean, look at these robots with the faces. Like, this is insane looking. This looks like it's going to be. It kind of looks like it's going to be horror, like Dead Space. So I'm all for it. It comes out in April. I think this is my most hyped game right now. Here's some pre-orders: deluxe edition, where fluffy coat and a lunar cap costume. Like, the costumes are pretty cool looking. Hopefully, we get something cool just for unlockables. This looks cool. The pre-order bonuses, the Bushido outfits, and the Konichi or Konoichi. I rather. Very, very cool. I'm excited for this game. I think it's going to be one of my favorite games this year. I have high hopes for it. So definitely check out the demo. And then we had this, and I think that's the last one I'll talk about. I'll get back to that in a second. We got a Rayman 30th anniversary announcement. Resident Evil Requiem. You guys have been watching these streams, you know, I'm not too excited about it. I'm not a fan of Leon. And I think the autistic, anxiety-ridden girl is going to be a pain in the ass. It could be a fun gameplay mechanic with the fear elements, but now that we see Leon again, I just think it's going to be babysitting Ashley and sucking at my life 2.0, and we're going to have Leon's infected again, and it just, let's not. Okay, I don't know. I'm not too excited about it. It's going to probably be good, but I want it to be more horror based. But this right here is something that's interesting, and I'm only going to go a little bit longer. I'm going to talk about this one real quick because this game, Sony had a lot of games, but this thing looks very wild. It's a Korean game, open world game, and it's, I don't know. You know what? We just got to see it to even know what's going on. It's basically God of War meets Murder Chicken. I don't know. I want to go ahead and get some of the gameplay of it just so we can see what this is like, because this is wild. So this guy here is our main protagonist, this giant buff chicken dude. Okay, just to put that in perspective, this is going to be a wild freaking game. Okay, this is going to be wild. It's like Dynasty Warriors had sex with God of War and a chicken. It's crazy. So like this looks so wild. Like I don't even know. I'm so for it. I don't want to go too long with it, but this game looks insane. I'm a sucker for Dynasty Warriors games, and this looks like again a giant chicken man fighting uh, massive armies a la Dynasty Warriors. So excited for it. I'm ready for it. And you know, I'll zip through a couple of these other announcements because man, there were so many. Rev Noir was another JRPG that I'm kind of looking forward to. We didn't see much of it. I'll just show, you know, a little bit here. So it kind of reminds me of like almost like a Xeno Xenoblade type art style, right? So we haven't seen much for the actual gameplay itself, right? We've seen cutscenes so far, but the character designs and everything else, it kind of reminds me of, and if it's going to be open world, it's going to probably have that Xenoblade vibe to it. So it's one I'm going to keep my eye out for. So very interested. And then we had Saros, which looks freaking crazy. If you guys know, this is obviously the follow up to Returnal, and this is going to be absolutely nuts. I'm sure Returnal is a sleeper hit. It's a 3D bullet hell, and it's nuts. It's a 3D bullet hell roguelike, and this just looks like it takes it and it just amps all that up to 11. So I'm all for it. I still have not beaten Returnal, but I freaking loved it. So, I mean, this just looks like it's going to be nuts. I am so ready for it. And the dude that you're actually playing as reminds me of one of the knights from Order 1886. So, you know, that just could be my theory. Maybe we're going to get a little crossover, but I doubt it. That game's dead. But I don't know. Very, very cool. I think it's going to be awesome. I mean, we had another new Silent Hill game announced for Townfall, where we're going to go in another country, I believe. So, very, very cool. This one looks like it's going to be rad. Star Wars freaking Galactic Racers. I'm all for this. I loved the Pod Racer game, so this is going to be awesome. Look at this. Look at this. Dude, I am all for this. This looks so freaking good. So good. Look at this. Oh my god. I am so hyped. I am so hyped. This looks great. First person, third person, Star Wars Galactic Racers. Let's freaking go. I'm so excited for that. This one, the Shinobi Ops, I believe this was this is more like a tactical kind of looking game. So it looks almost like I don't want to say a Diablo style game, but it's that isometric perspective. Um, Nothing really that kind of tickles my fancy there. But yeah, we had some really really good games in that state of play, man. There were some great games. I don't know, like let me know, like obviously if you guys are watching this after, but it looks like a good year for Sony, man. And I know these aren't all exclusive games, but let's see. The chicken game looks sick. Dude, the chicken game does look sick. That game looks like it's going to be freaking awesome. I am all for it. So, I don't know. Those are just a couple of things I wanted to talk about again before I ended the stream. But again, let me know now here in the chat. I'm seeing the chicken game, obviously. And, you know, let me know what you guys are also looking forward to. And, you know, if you guys are actually looking forward to any of those games on stream, because all those games I kind of talked about, I'm probably going to get, other than maybe 007. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about today. So again, hopefully you guys enjoyed checking out all the figures today. Obviously, I've run through them again. We had Rin Chan. We had Amelia. Sorry, that was a blank one. We had Amelia here. Technical difficulties. We had Urza Scarlet from Fairy Tale. We had Benny Morrow from Reincarnated as Slime. We had our Friday the 13th double feature, which was Jason Voorhees, Kotobukiya Bishojo, and the Dynamic Forces, J. Scott Campbell, Ash Williams from, of course, Evil Dead. And then we finished off the week with the Valentine's Love of Asuna in the EX Chronicle figures by Sega. So those were all the figures that I highlighted this week. Again, let me know your favorites down in the comments below. Let me know if there's any suggestions you guys have for some things we should be doing next week. And that's going to be it for today, guys. Hopefully you enjoy watching this on the VOD. If you are watching the VOD, let me know your thoughts. Thanks to everyone who came in and chatted, of course. It has been fun. And, also, guys, I'm going to just put it out there. If you guys are looking for some energy drinks that aren't caffeinated, I am an affiliate in W Energy, which I will have all the links and everything next week. But if you go to w.gg and you entered code Nerds Never Sleep, you get 10% off your order. So make sure to go there, check out some good stuff. They have a free run, solo leveling, and a Chainsaw Man collab going on right now. So definitely a fan of the stuff. It works pretty good and doesn't give you any jitters or crash. But I will have some more info on all that as it proceeds, as things go on. But just wanted to throw that out there before I ended the stream. So that's going to be it for today, guys. Thank you all so much for stopping in. And I will see you tomorrow. We're going to be game streaming Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday this week because kiddo has school vacation, so I have to do stuff, obviously, with her. So we're going to be altering the streams, and I don't know what we're playing yet, so it's going to be a surprise. You have any suggestions? Make sure to let me know. But that's going to be it for today, guys. I will see you all later. Bye, everyone.